What's happening to everyone? Welcome back to Z and a look at the Hispanic and Latino population of the United States. Normally, I don't do anything related to race on this channel because I'm at a disadvantage. I was raised right, and the only time I notice racial differences is when it comes to food, music, and maybe how family gatherings go down. But the thing is, not everyone's like that. Too many people see race as the most interesting subject about a person. Hispanic and Latino people typically receive this junk, and the majority of them reside in the United States, where they are targeted. According to the United States Census Bureau, the number of Hispanics in the country increased from 50.5 million in 2010 to 62.1 million in 2020, or about 18.7% of the total population. If you believe that just because someone is Hispanic or Latino, they are not Americans, you are likely mistaken. I frequently receive requests for videos like this, but not always from people looking for unfavorable information. Let's take a look at Georgia and Virginia, which may be considered average states given that 10.4% of their populations are Hispanic. Illinois is ranked 10th. Illinois has a sizable population of Hispanic and Latino people. However, if I keep saying Hispanic and Latino throughout the entire thing, it would make the video drag. So, instead, I'll give you the definition first, and then we'll simply stick with Hispanic. Although the terms Hispanic and Latino are sometimes used synonymously, they have different connotations. People who speak Spanish or have roots in a Spanish-speaking nation are referred to as Hispanic. We're going to stick with Hispanic for the time being because Latino refers to people who are from or have a background in a Latin American country. If you have an issue with that, please stop watching the video and find another source. But getting back to Illinois, there are 2.3 million Hispanic residents there, making up about 18.2% of the state's total population. Since the 2010 census, the Hispanic population has increased by about 15.3%, which is a good. Their Hispanic population makes up 88.8% of the total. New York State is ranked 9th. Many of the boroughs in New York City have sizable Hispanic populations, although few people outside of the city are aware that other places have sizable Hispanic populations. As of the 2020 census, there were 3.9 million Hispanic residents in New York State, making up 19.5% of the total population. This demographic has increased by 16% since the 2010 census. While most people will probably assume that one of the boroughs, such as Queens or Brooklyn, has the highest proportion of Hispanic residents, they do have a sizable population. What's happening in the community of Haverstraw, up the Hudson River, is nowhere near what's happening in Queens, where 36% of the population is Hispanic, and Brooklyn, where 30% are Hispanic. 71.2% of the population of Haverstraw, which has a little over 12,000 residents and less than 9,000 Hispanics, is Hispanic. New Jersey, number 8. If you've ever been to Northeast New Jersey, you shouldn't be surprised to learn that there are many different Hispanic communities there. The state has over 2 million Hispanic residents, or roughly 21.6% of its total population, and since the 2010 census, the Hispanic population has increased by 28.8%. If you're looking for the community with the highest percentage of Hispanics, you're going to be in Northeast New Jersey. The 7th, Colorado. If you weren't aware that Colorado has a sizable Hispanic population, you either haven't been paying attention or haven't been there. According to the 2010 census, the state's Hispanic population has increased by 21.6%. If you're Hispanic and want to live near other members of your community, Federal Heights, a city in the Denver metro area, is your best bet. 6th place, Florida. Currently, this one provides a larger proportion. The more south you travel in this state, the more Cubans there are. I mentioned this in a video I made about Florida about 4 months ago, and there was a lot of controversy about whether Cubans were Caribbean or Hispanic. I won't get into that discussion now. If you're looking for the most Hispanic town in Florida, it's Hialeah, which is in the Miami metro region and has 95% Hispanic residents, 26.5% of the state's population, or a little under 5.7 million people. Nevada comes in fifth. As you can imagine, it only makes sense that it's close to the Mexican border and Central America and all that stuff, but Nevada doesn't have the biggest population overall in 2020. They had just a little over 3 million residents, most of them living in the Reno and Vegas metro areas, and their Hispanic population is about 845. The most Hispanic neighborhood, North Las Vegas, is just 41% Hispanic, which is lower than any of the other communities on this list. Fourth place, Arizona. Arizona is another state that should be a no-brainer to be on this list. If you didn't think it would be, congratulations on waking up from that coma, or perhaps you've been living in a doomsday shelter since the 1940s. Either way, Arizona has a very strong and historic Hispanic community. There are 2.1 million Hispanics living there, and they make up 30.7% of the state's population. Their population has. Third place, Texas. The best tacos I've ever had were in Laredo, Texas, but Texas has a significant Hispanic population throughout much of the state, not just along the border. In my opinion, Texas is one of the best states for Hispanic culture in the United States. I'd say in the United States, or someone would throw in like Mexicali or something like that down in Mexico. They have states as well, 32 to be exact. I always look for the best tacos when I travel to Texas, Arizona, or any other western state, and I can tell you from experience, the more Hispanic people they have living in that town, the better tacos you're going to get, because I grew up in the Los Angeles metropolitan area. Roma has a population of about 12,000 people, and of those 12,000 people, 99.9% are Hispanic. I promise you can get some seriously good tacos there. Okay, now is the time to place your wagers. Let's find out who is ranked first and second. Second place, California. The Golden State is another that shouldn't have surprised anyone because it's California, and it's kind of known for this because not too long ago, all of the top 5 on this list were a part of Mexico. It's also not like buying a condo because the previous tenants don't leave before you take over. Instead, they just become a part of your household, which is something I'm kind of happy about because otherwise, I probably wouldn't have a wife, or at least the one I have now, because data indicates that Hispanics make up 39.4% of California's population. An increase of 11.2% since 2010. I was surprised to learn that Parlier, southeast of Fresno, has the highest percentage of Hispanic residents of any city or town in California, despite the fact that I was born and raised here and am an avid map student. I was also surprised to learn that Parlier doesn't have the best livability score, only it's 49, which is typically terrible, but that its crime rate isn't particularly high. The only drawback to this location, and I know I'm getting off topic here, is that their income per capita is 65% lower and their unemployment is always pretty bad. However, it looks nice. I mean, it doesn't look like a bad place to live. Their cost of living is not terrible either. I mean, this is California, and it's 1% lower than the national average. Their housing is 30% lower than the national average. New Mexico is ranked first. That's correct. The fact that there are many Hispanics in the land of enchantment should not come as a surprise to anyone. After all, even if you don't know anything about the state, it still says Mexico in the name. It's not like you're going to arrive there and discover that the entire state is 97% Scottish, but in New Mexico, where there are 2.1 million people, nearly half of them are Hispanic. If you're looking for it, find El Paso, Texas, and it's right there. It's a site named Sunland Park. The southeast section of the city is really where the Rio Grande ultimately connects with Mexico. Sunland Park's 93 is predominantly Hispanic. El Paso is where New Mexico and Mexico meet. That concludes the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something from it. Now, go out and use the rest of your time wisely.